Today I am going to be doing a repair on my Arbor press. Here's the Arbor press. Now what we're going to be fixing today is this little piece that goes right under there. So it just sits there. It's broken because it's I was pressing something and it popped out all of a sudden, and that shocked it, and as a result it broke. So now we're gonna make a new one today. I've got this piece of just plate that I'm gonna be trying to make that out of. It's roughly the same size, so 1/2 inch. Yeah, let's go. Right, so off camera I've just gone and drilled it out. Like, I've located it with a that brass point that I made in the last video. I drilled it out to 15/64, and then I've just reamed it to a 1/4 inch for a roll pin. Right, so my first thought is to try and mount it in my lathe somehow. So I gotta figure out a way to mount this. Here's the plan. I've got tail support, I've got it pressed up against the jaws of the chuck, and I've got a tool in there, and yeah, I'm gonna be taking extremely light cuts, 70 RPM, and would you look at that, it's working. So it ended up spinning, so I turned this piece of aluminum, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and super glue it on there. So just got some of this KMS special, I don't know. I ended up changing from this insert to that insert because the other one was chattering a lot on the piece, and this one seems to be much better even with the same depth of cut. So yeah. That is nice. Let's take it out of the lathe. Right, so we're back over at the bench, and here's the plate. And just for fun, I'm gonna test fit it. I've got one of these spring pins that I got earlier today. It just sits there. So yeah, it's looking very promising so far. So here what I've done is I have taken the piece, I have super glued it back together, and I have used a split pin and pushed it in the hole that is in this plate. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a reference, and I'm going to scribe on there, like on the blue, and that'll be my reference for milling away like that material. Alright, so I've got this all set up in the mill, and the way I've set it up is I've just taken a piece of aluminum pipe and faced both sides of it, and that's the thing that it's resting on, so it's an expendable piece. I've got this, and I've squared it up with the end mill, and 2 toe clamps, and yeah, we're gonna see how it works. Now I'm just gonna plunge in and across and remove that material, and then I'm gonna switch the clamps and do that side, and then this side, but I'll have to figure something out with a boarding head or something here. Fit fast there. So I think I'm gonna pre-drill at first because if you look at these chips, they're where's the there. So if you look at those chips, that's just like powder, and powdery chips means that it's just rubbing. So yeah, I'm gonna pre-drill that. All right, so I've got the center drill all set up, and yeah, let's get to drilling. Right, now that's drilled. Now I'm gonna set up the end mill again. All right, so we're set up again, and let's hopefully get through with the end mill this time. So already it's going much better. These are the chips that it's making. So it's actually cutting, it's not just rubbing. Alright, we're through. I'm gonna lock the quill here. And I'm just gonna slowly feed. Alright, slot number 1 is finished. Realistically, I could have put the clamps there, and then I wouldn't have had to reorientate them after I'd done those 2 cuts, but you know what, you think afterwards. Alright, so I've got a 3/8 end mill in there. I'm going to try just plunging with this one and see what happens. Like, I'm going to plunge in and then go across. I'm not going to pre-drill because I think the only reason that the 3/8 or the 3/4 one presented a problem was because it's simply too big for this machine to run reliably, and this machine does not have the rigidity. So yeah, let's give it a shot. So a little bit of misbehaving on its part, but it's doing well. A little bit of chatter buildup. It's not screaming like the other one though. And we're through. And now let's go across. Hey, we might have to spot drill or drill all the way with this one. Okay. And then we'll just go for it to build the pocket completely. Lock the quill. Now we're doing better. You see that? The machine's just not rigid enough. one more pass for good luck. Okay, that feels good. So yeah, that is all right. Now I'm going to switch end mills and rotate the piece. All right, so I've got that all set up in the mill, and now I'm going to plunge with the 1/2 inch end mill, then plunge and plunge. Same thing that I did with the 3/8 end mill. This is just some anchor lube. It's good stuff for just general purpose drilling, milling. And the good thing about it, one of the great things about it, is that it's doesn't produce smoke, or it smokes very little. All right, after some fun with some compressed air, I have finally figured out what I'm gonna do, or at least what I think is gonna be a good idea to do. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a small end mill and I'm gonna mill a big piece out of there, and then I'm gonna go in there with a boring head. Yeah. That sounds a lot better in my head, not gonna lie. Hope you're proud of me, Batman. We're through. Okay, it's going well. I don't know if you can see that, but that end mill turned blue. I burnt that thing up, man. Look at that. Yeah, that got a little bit warm. Wow. Alright, so I'm going to be using a boring head now to bore out this material and make it nice and round. Okay, now for probably the last operation on this machine, just gonna face off these two little sides and then we're good. Nice. So that's that so far. Gonna do a bit of deburring, but yeah, I'd say it's gonna work. Okay, so here's the piece. I've got it all deburred, and it's turned out nice. So now I'm gonna take one of these pins and smack it in, one of the split pins. There we go. And now, there we have it. Right on the Arbor press. I'd say that's turned out pretty good. Hey again, it's me, Julian. I just wanted to say thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoy this type of content, be that machining, electric guitar playing, 3D printing, feel free to drop a like and a subscription if you'd like. And feel free to comment any suggestions for future videos, anything you would like to see more of, and just, yeah, any questions you might have regarding machining or guitar playing, and I'll do my best to answer them. Again, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.